Okay, so let's start with the webinar that we have today. The name is, obviously you can see, artificial intelligence. So basically, first of all, we'll try to understand that what is artificial intelligence. Trust me, I read a lot of comments, I read a lot of definitions every day. There are 100 definitions every day, and there are a lot of opinions that people have regarding artificial intelligence. Ekta Mera, okay, you are Pratyush. Good, good. So let's start. So let's start with the first basic concept of artificial intelligence. So normally artificial intelligence is considered of two types, basically, as you can see on the screen: artificial narrow intelligence and artificial general intelligence. So basically, in today's world, whatever right now most of it that we have is artificial narrow intelligence. You can see the examples: uh, the smart speaker, self-driving car, web search, AI in farming and factories. Whatever AI that we have around us today, that is narrow AI, or artificial narrow intelligence. And the other AI that we have is AGI, that is artificial general intelligence. So whatever it is defined as, whatever human can do, anything a system is able to do, then we can consider it as artificial general intelligence, like feelings, emotions. So till now there is no feelings and emotions in machine, and it is really very difficult to achieve AGI in our systems. I guess I am audible to everyone. Uh, Shikha Chaudhary, ma'am, good afternoon. Hello everyone. So let's start with the second slide. Uh, so what is basically artificial intelligence? So it consists of basically three subsets. So first is artificial intelligence, and then you have machine learning, and then deep learning. So in artificial intelligence, as you can see, a program. So this definition that I'm saying is from Intel. There are very different definitions that we can find on internet. So the first definition that we have is a program that can sense, reason, act, and adapt. So this is defined by Intel, and we have other definitions as well. So we have, from Wikipedia, we have the term artificial intelligence is applied when a machine mimics cognitive function as human does. So basically, learning, problem solving, these are the functions that humans can do, and if a machine mimics that, and it can be generalized as artificial intelligence. So what I can define artificial intelligence is, basically it's a process of acquiring knowledge, understanding and applying that, uh, and that is intelligence. So let us first of all generalize the word intelligence, because I have seen a lot of kids fighting that I am intelligent, or even humans are fighting among themselves that they are intelligent. So first of all, we have to believe that a system is intelligent, then we can define the term that, okay, this is artificially intelligent. Okay, so why, I can give you the example that why we don't talk to our microwaves, but we talk to Siri and Alexa, because we know that they are intelligent, they will reply to us, and they will listen to our commands. Okay, so it basically ends where you believe that a system that you are interacting is intelligent. So there are a lot of opinions that we have in artificial intelligence, and this debate or the definitions will not get over anytime, because even people think that artificial intelligence is not even uh, related to only human intelligence. So right now we are talking about only human intelligence and mimicking that functions that we do, those cognitive functions. I can see that there are a lot of audience now. Hello everyone. Okay, so first of all, I would like to show you a video of artificial intelligence, and while watching that video, please write that if you are able to listen to the audio or not.
Every day, a large portion of the population is at the mercy of a rising technology, yet few actually understand what it is. Artificial intelligence. You know, HAL 9000 and Marvin the Paranoid Android. Thanks to books and movies, each generation has formed its own fantasy of a world ruled, or at least served, by robots. We've been conditioned to expect flying cars that steer clear of traffic and robotic maids whipping up our weekday dinner. But if the age of AI is here, why don't our lives look more like the Jetsons? Well, for starters, that's a cartoon. And really, if you've ever browsed Netflix movie suggestions or told Alexa to order a pizza, you're probably interacting with artificial intelligence more than you realize. And that's kind of the point. AI is designed so you don't realize there's a computer calling the shots. But that also makes understanding what AI is and what it's not a little complicated. In basic terms, AI is a broad area of computer science that makes machines seem like they have human intelligence. So it's not only programming a computer to drive a car by obeying traffic signals, but it's when that program also learns to exhibit signs of human-like road rage. As intimidating as it may seem, this technology isn't new. Actually, for the past half a century, it's been an idea ahead of its time. The term artificial intelligence was first coined back in 1956 by Dartmouth professor John McCarthy. He called together a group of computer scientists and mathematicians to see if machines could learn like a young child does, using trial and error to develop formal reasoning. The project proposal says they'll figure out how to make machines use language, form abstractions and concepts, solve kinds of problems now reserved for humans, and improve themselves. That was more than 60 years ago. Since then, AI has remained for the most part in university classrooms and super-secret labs, but that's changing. Like all exponential curves, it's hard to tell when a line that's slowly ticking upwards is going to skyrocket. But during the past few years, a couple of factors have led to AI becoming the next big thing. First, huge amounts of data are being created every minute. In fact, 90% of the world's data has been generated in the past 2 years. And now, thanks to advances in processing speeds, computers can actually make sense of all this information more quickly. Because of this, tech giants and venture capitalists have bought into AI and are infusing the market with cash and new applications. Very soon, AI will become a little less artificial and a lot more intelligent. Now the question is, should you brace yourself for yet another Terminator movie live on your city streets? Not exactly. In fact, stop thinking of robots. When it comes to AI, a robot is nothing more than the shell concealing what's actually used to power the technology. That means AI can manifest itself in many different ways. Let's break down the options. First, you have your bots. They're text-based and incredibly powerful, but they have limitations. Ask a weather bot for the forecast, and it will tell you it's partly cloudy with a high of 57. But ask that same bot what time it is in Tokyo, and it'll get a little confused. That's because the bot's creator only programmed it to give you the weather by pulling from a specific data source. Natural language processing makes these bots a bit more sophisticated. When you ask Siri or Cortana where the closest gas station is, it's really just translating your voice into text, feeding it to a search engine, and reading the answer back in human syntax. So in other words, you don't have to speak in code. At the far end of the spectrum is machine learning, and honestly, it's one of the most exciting areas of AI. Like a human, a machine retains information and becomes smarter over time. But unlike a human, it's not susceptible to things like short-term memory loss, information overload, sleep deprivation, and distractions. But how do these machines actually learn? Well, while it may be easy for a human to know the difference between a cat and a dog, for a computer, not so much. You see, when you're only considering physical appearance, the difference between cats and dogs can be a little gray. You can say cats have pointed ears and dogs have floppy ears, but those rules aren't universal. Between tail length, fur texture, and color, there are a lot of options. And that means a lot of tedious rules someone would have to program manually to help a computer spot the difference. But remember, machine learning is about making machines learn like humans. And like any toddler, that means they have to learn by experience. With machine learning, programs analyze thousands of examples to build an algorithm. It then tweaks the algorithm based on if it achieves its goal. Over time, the program actually gets smarter. That's how machines like IBM's Watson can diagnose cancer, compose classical symphonies, or crush Ken Jennings at Jeopardy! Some programs even mimic the way the human brain is structured, complete with neural networks that help humans, and now machines, solve problems. Generations have long imagined the ramifications of AI, visualizing a society where machines seek revenge and wreak havoc on human society. However, the more logical and pressing question is, how will AI affect your job? Will it make your work obsolete? Just like the Industrial Revolution, it's not human versus machine, it's human and machine versus problem. The point is that artificial intelligence helps you accomplish more in less time, taking on the repetitive tasks of your job while you master the strategy and relationships. That way, humans can do what they do best: be human.
Okay, I hope that you have seen the video now, and if you have any doubts and queries, you can write it in the chat section. And let's begin with our topic, that is machine learning. But before going to that topic, I would like to clear some doubts that there is a problem in the students and the teachers also today in today's world. Whatever we are thinking that is related to artificial intelligence, we think about robots, and whenever we want to make our projects, so we think about robots and LED lights turning them on and off. So that is basically not artificial intelligence. I would like to clear everyone. And what basically artificial intelligence is, I would like you to understand by all these examples that I will tell you now. So the first of all example, that is you can understand that share market. So whatever share market, in the share market, we have all those values that is going ups and down, and we have a graph over there. So what that graph can show us, and in that graph we can predict the values that is going to happen in the next day. So whatever data that we have uh, from the past 10 years, we can use that model and predict future values. So that is basically machine learning and artificial intelligence. Turning on lights on and off is not machine learning and artificial intelligence. I have seen a lot of students and teachers supporting the ideas and thinking that artificial intelligence is basically robotics. We have robots that are controlled by hand or controlled by a joystick. So those are not related to artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is basically whatever human does, and they understands and learns and apply that learning in a process. Okay, so let's move forward. So we have machine learning on our screen right now. So what is basically machine learning? So machine learning, as you can read the statement, it is basically learn from repeatedly seeing data rather than being explicitly programmed by humans. Okay, so let's take an example of a small kid. When a kid is born, and whenever someone tries to make that kid learn that this is an apple, or this is a pen, or this is a banana, so how it happens? So whenever human sees that picture, it takes a lot of features using it. And even after, like, a human has learned that picture, maybe an apple, if you touch an apple, if you smell an apple, you can guess that this is an apple. So how it is possible? Because your brain has taken all those features, and those features can include many things like shape, texture of the surface, or the smell, or maybe taste. Basically, you can taste an apple and you can tell that this is an apple. So so that is the reason, and your brain has taken all that data and stored it inside you, and that is basically a replica of a data set. In a system, we call it a data set. So for a system, we need a data set, and we need to program the machine. So whenever we make the machine learn using all those features, we call the process as machine learning. And there is an example that is given over here that emails are labeled as spam or not. How a machine detects that it is a spam mail or it is a no, it is not a spam mail. So there is machine learning that is going behind it. Um so okay, so there is a algorithm in machine learning, and with the help of that algorithm we try and learn our machines. And the other concept that we have is deep learning. We'll come to deep learning later on, but first we have the two types of machine learning over here. So yeah, the first type of machine learning is supervised learning, and the other one is unsupervised learning. So as the name says, supervised learning, it is a type of machine learning which is having a targeted column. It is having a data set. We have to make predictions, and the data is structured. So, and you can say that there is a supervisor, or uh, maybe a user that is putting the data and it structures the data, maybe an Excel sheet, or maybe you have a folder, maybe you have a movies folder. You have arranged that folder in such a way that all the movies that has come in 2018, that is taken in a different folder, and the movies that is released in 2019 as in a different folder. So this is called as a structured data. And unstructured data, uh, that is basically on the internet, that is totally unstructured. You can find it on Instagram, you can find it on Facebook. So there's a lot of different types of data. In that case, a machine checks the structure in the data and make it a structured data. So in that type of machine learning, we call it unsupervised learning. We don't have, so as the slide says, that we don't have a target column. And the examples of both of them is fraud detection of supervised learning and customer segmentation in unsupervised learning. Obviously, let's take an example of Flipkart. There's a lot of profiles that have been built on Flipkart. I'm sure that you are using Flipkart and Amazon, and those profiles shows you some ads. So those ads are basically on your browsing history, on your purchase history. So maybe basically if I purchase gadgets, so it will show me all the gadgets. But if I purchase all the cosmetic items, so it will show me all the cosmetic items, right? Okay, so let's see some of the question that you have. So does Siri and Alexa use NLP? um, uh, okay, so there's a lot of request of increasing the mic volume. I guess I am audible now. I have increased my volume now. Yeah. Okay, so the first question that we have today is, Siri and Alexa use NLP? Yes or no? Yes, it uses NLP, because see, NLP is basically, we'll come to NLP, but I'll give you a brief description of what is NLP. NLP is basically the natural language processing. In that natural language processing, we have four different steps. So in those four different steps, we try to understand the language of how a person is speaking. So that is basically entity detection is the first step. We have summarization, we have information extraction. Suppose we have a paragraph, and in that paragraph there is a lot of different details. So from that paragraph we have to summarize that paragraph. So in that system we'll use summarization and information extraction. There's a lot of algorithm that are there in the market right now. Okay, so data is stored in brain. Okay, so yeah, so what I was trying to explain you, that if you take an example of a small kid, just a newborn baby, so those images are learned by that brain. How that brain comes to understand that this is an apple when you understand. So okay, let's take an example of nursery class student. In those books you have apple, banana, cat, a b c d, whatever. And with that ABC you have those pictures. So in those pictures, you try to understand that this is an apple, so you remember it for your life. So there is something that is happening in our brain, and that's how I meant that that is the data that we have learned from just our birth, right? Okay, Muskan, I would like to hear from you that can you hear me now? Okay. Um, Python is used in all AI programs. No, basically you can have a choice that you can use Python, but you if you are good in other programming languages, you can use different programming languages as well. Python is widely used, but there is no compulsion in that. Okay, so let's move forward. I guess I have missed a question. How Alexa and Siri are programmed. Okay, so basically, there are people who are putting the dialogues over there, and those dialogues. Suppose if I write, if I just tell my Alexa to turn on my light, turn on my room light, basically. So that Alexa and that algorithm works in such a way that it checks the sentence, and it just deletes all the uh, unwanted information in a sentence. So basically, those are called as entities. So the first entity that you can see in the sentence turn off the light is basically turn. Basically, you have to do an action, and off and on can be the trigger. You have to do on and off. Basically, in the back end, there is a variable 0 and 1 that goes to the microcontroller, and it turns the light on. So, and which light also, so that also depends. You have to turn on the fan, you have to turn on the light. So whenever we program our Alexa, it creates a variable with a light. So every time we trigger our light, so that variable changes. That is the way how Alexa and Siri learns our program. And it's basically few different things attached together. It is basically speech to text, and then text is converted into logical output that computer can understand. Okay. Yeah, Java can be used mm, in AI programs. Which is more effective in AI, Keras or TensorFlow? See, there are different advantages and disadvantages of all of them. We will be discussing TensorFlow, Keras, everything in the later part of our session. As this is the first session, this is a very generic session for everyone. I have kept all the slides in such a way that uh, this is this is understandable by everyone. So we'll discuss about TensorFlow and Keras in a very later part of the videos. Okay, so let's move forward from our in our PPT. I will discuss the question and answers later on now. Yeah, so the first limitation of machine learning is basically it can recognize the objects. It can recognize the object, but it can't classify between the objects. So as you can see the slide, we have image of a cat or a dog. Machine learning can detect that there is an object over there, so it will just detect there is an object in between a cat, and there is just it will just detect that there is a dog, but it can't classify between those two. So for that we use deep learning, and deep learning is much more advanced than machine learning. And in deep learning, we have neural networks. We'll discuss about neural networks also. And let's move forward. Okay, so before moving forward, let's take some example of machine learning that you interact with. So the first example is Netflix recommender system. So Netflix or maybe Amazon recommender system. So those recommender system that you have is basically working on machine learning. So that profile that you create uh, generates your data, your browsing history, your purchase history, whatever movies that you watch on Netflix, whatever TV shows that you watch on Netflix. So that creates a data, and based on that data, it shows you the recommendation. There are different types of algorithm to show you the recommendation, and this comes in, if we talk about the commerce part, it comes for the marketing thing. Because for the Netflix, if we are releasing a new show, if someone is releasing a new show, so they have to be marketed on the app as well. So it recommends them to a certain amount of people uh, that are interested in that genre. Okay, so let's move forward now. Yeah, so this is an example of deep learning. The first one you can see over here is machine learning. In machine learning, we just have a face and we detect the features in a face, and then we apply the algorithm. So that algorithm is defined by a human, and then we come to know that this is Arjun. Okay, so in deep learning, we don't have different type of steps. We just have a neural network. And so, what is basically a neural network? Neural network is it depicts the form of a human brain, as we have neurons in our brain firing from one end to the other. So we have the first layer, that is the input layer, and the last layer is called as the output layer. All the layers between them are called as the hidden layer, right? And these hidden layers basically have the data, are these points, these pointers that you can see, the white points are called as the neurons, and the linkages that you can see is the synapses. So whatever data is traveled in the neurons, it is getting calculated, and there is a introduction of bias also in that. So all those data is multiplied by the weights, and the weights are calculated by the synapse of the linkages. So according to the whole neural network structure, it takes a lot of data obviously as compared to machine learning, because in case of machine learning we just have to give a normal data and an algorithm, and it tries to understand that. But in deep learning there's a lot of data, and it understands and it makes the algorithm by its own. um, okay, so I think this is enough for the basic session. Yeah, so we'll talk about another example. I can see that there are many examples of Alexa and Siri uh, in the chat box. So let's take an example of Alexa. So Alexa basically works on machine learning, and it has uh, different types of algorithm that are working together. The first algorithm is obviously speech to text, because when you are speaking to a machine, it it converts that voice note into a text note, and that text note is then feed it to a system that recognizes the intents. So I have taken the example of turn on the light and turn off the light. So in this sentence, you can see there are three valuable information. The first one is turn. So whenever the system gets the information to turn, so that means we should take an action. And turn on and off basically describes a variable, and the entity, that is light or fan, directs the signal to whatever application that you have. Okay, uh, we just have to click right side of mouse and click search Google for image. I can't understand this question. Sir, neural networks involve synaptic weights in which layer? All the hidden layers basically. I can get back to this topic. Yeah. So these hidden layers, these lines that you can see over here, these are the synapse, and these synapses have the weights in it. These weights are multiplied by uh, these values that a neuron can have. You can just simply understand this neuron as a value from 0 to 1. Basically it will include all the decimal numbers. So 0 will be like, you can understand like 0 is white, and 1 is black. So it basically works on probability and gives you the right output. Okay. See, for programming languages, whatever you are comfortable with, you can work with that. Just make sure that you have all the libraries and the models and a community basically, because uh, no one is an AI developer right now. Everyone is struggling, and there is a big community. Why Python is getting introduced so much? Because there are so many libraries in Python, and a lot of people working in Python. A lot of people are working in forums and communities. Are there chances of our data getting hacked using Alexa or Siri? No, no. Basically, Alexa, Siri, see, basically you have chances only when you hand over your device or your password, uh, or maybe not the password, but still you have the two-step verification, but then you hand over your mobile phone to someone else, or maybe you open your device, you open your Google, Amazon account or Google account somewhere else in someone else's computer, and you save the password by mistake. Then the most cases that happens only using that. Your data can't be hacked, or neither your device is listening to your question, and that data can't be public, because it's a big company, and there's a lot of people who are taking care of all those things. But first we have to understand that what is machine learning. We don't have to go into all the details about maybe someday AI can come and kill us like a Terminator. We don't talk like that right now. Just a very generic AI session. uh, uh, let's move ahead now. So we'll see the presence of AI in our world. So the first slide that you can see is AI omnipresence in transportation. Obviously, you know that you use Google Maps. So Google Maps tell you the fastest route, and it manages to tell you the kilometers also, and also the traffic in that. So that traffic data and the fastest route is processed using artificial intelligence only. So basically, there's a lot of data, and also there are models that are obviously predicting 24/7 that this route will be fast or not, or your uh, destination reaching time, maybe that. Yeah, ride sharing. So ride sharing predicts the real time demand using AI techniques, obviously. So for the companies, it is really very important to understand that the demand will increase or not only for the ride sharing, or maybe Uber or cab services, but also for the power sector. We have to forecast our power requirements, whatever. Suppose in summer there's a big power requirement, but in winters there's a less power requirement. So there is an AI that automatically forecasts the data and the values, uh, and also in weather forecasting also, there is an AI system that is working in that. Okay, so let's move forward. AI omnipresence in social media. I guess uh, all the kids who are watching me right now knows that whatever, if we scroll our Flipkart, those ads, those products sometimes come to our Facebook also. And also we have image recognition and sentiment analysis. So basically that is to understand what is the mood of a human, or it gives us the recommendation that your sentence is, or maybe you talk about Grammarly. When you install Grammarly, you write a text or a paragraph, it will tell you the sentiment of your text that you have written by using these smileys that you have. Facebook, Twitter, everyone is using AI to to present you a different content feed. Basically, if I like some pages in Facebook, so but I know that I like 1,000 pages in Facebook. approximate, but it only shows me the pages that I interact with the most, or I like those pages the most. Same way, uh, we have so many friends on Facebook, but the only news feed in the news feed that you can see the post, those posts are only those friends that you have interacted with, or you have liked your post, or you have commented it. Those will come on top. Obviously it will show all of them, but it prioritize that audience. Okay, so we have an activity now. So this is basically the link that you can see. You can open that link simultaneously on the laptop, uh, on any browser. So we'll do this activity. I'll just explain what is this activity. So this is basically teachable machine with google.com. It's a website where you can train your images, and then you can have a particular response. Suppose if you have to classify between cat and a dog, or maybe your photo in which you have your eyes closed or eyes open, all that also it can classify. And the second thing that it can recognize is sound. So for the sound, you need to have a minimum amount of uh, audio, that is of 20 seconds. You have to record your audio. Basically you have to classify between a slap sound and maybe a music sound, or any note. Maybe you have to classify between two different voices. So in teachable machine can do that. And even poses. So the third thing that teachable machine does is the poses. Suppose you all know what is a dab. So if you do that, it recognizes that, or if you do a high five, it recognizes that. So basically now I will show you all those questions that you were asking, that what is the languages that is being used behind. So in today's session we'll not focus on only programming languages, because to use AI you don't need to be a developer. You have to choose between a user of AI and a developer in AI. Suppose if you want to use teachable machine with Google, you don't need to have prior programming languages. And see, if you want to be a developer in Google, then you need to have the understanding of programming languages. So but in today's world, in schools and in with kids, everyone is thinking that for AI you need to have programming languages. Let's take an example of a doctor. Suppose a doctor is taking has a 30 years of experience and have numbers of solved cases with them. I guess all of them, but yeah. So okay, after 30 years he will not be remembering that what he was doing in those 30 years. But if he creates that data, he can obviously predicts, and based on the present patient he can just tell them that okay, these were the cases that were resembling these proper cases in the past. So for a doctor, we don't need a doctor to be a programmer, but he can still use AI. For a driver in self-driving cars, you don't need to be a programmer, but still you will use self-driving cars. The same way you are talking to Siri, you are using AI, but you don't need to be a developer in AI. So it's basically your choice. Today's session is basically on AI for everyone. So everyone will be using AI, and some people are saying that AI is the new electricity in Industry 4.0. But we'll go through that topic later on. So let's start with this activity. But before starting with this activity, I would like to show you a video from Google regarding the teachable machine activity. So let's begin with that.
People are training computers and creating machine learning models to explore all kinds of new ideas. New ways to interact.
Yes.
To understand the world. To play. And experiment. But machine learning is pretty intimidating to get into. So we've been wondering, what if it wasn't? With Teachable Machine, we set out to make it easier for anyone to create machine learning models without needing to write any machine learning code. When it first launched in 2017, it allowed everyone to get a feeling for what machine learning is all about. But now, Teachable Machine puts the power of machine learning in your hands, allowing you to save your models and use them in your own projects.
So let's say you want to build a model to recognize you versus your dog. You just open up the site, record samples of you and samples of your dog. Click Train, and you instantly have your own machine learning model, which you can use in your sites, apps, and more. You can upload your model to host it online, or download it to work entirely on device.
With Teachable Machine, you can create custom models for all sorts of things. Using images, audio, or even poses. Personalized machine learning models for the things that matter to you. And folks have already been trying it out, using Teachable Machine in their own experiments, solving problems in their communities, or even just at home. Start creating and see where your ideas take you at g.co/teachable machine.
I think you all have watched the video. If you have understood anything from the video, please write in the comments. Yes, so I can move forward with the activity. Okay, so let's do the activity now. So this is the website. You can all simultaneously open this website on your screens. Uh, I guess I am audible, and let's begin with this activity. So it says that the Teachable Machine train a computer to recognize your own images, sound, and poses. And in the video also you have seen that it classifies an image between the two things. So basically we are giving a machine an understanding that what is there in an image. So this is the first step, or maybe, of making a system intelligent. And to do this very easily without having any knowledge of programming, I think you should all do that. And to do this you have to open Teachable Machine with google.com, and you have new project over here. So if I open this new project, I will be asked three different choices. The first is image project, the second is audio project, and the third one is the pose project. So basically in the image project you open the image, and this is the class. So whenever this is the data set that you will be having. So in this you can open a webcam or upload your images. So this class 1 will be having similar type of images, and class 2 will be having similar type of images. You can have as many class as you want, as many data as you want, and then you can train your model. You can actually train your model, and you can see that what is happening behind the model getting trained, and you can see all those graphs. Okay, so I have a document project that I have created. I guess this is working. Yes, it is working. I will be opening with the project. Yeah, so I've saved the project. As you can see, I have 7 image samples of cat, and 7 image samples of different breeds of dog. You can have 50, you can have 100, or you can have different animals also. This is just to show you a basic thing how Teachable Machine works. So I have created, instead of adding and uploading all the data, I have created a model. And but the strange thing is you have to train the model again and again whenever you are using it. And the thing that I like about this Teachable Machine is that you can export your model later on, and you can use it in your microcontrollers as well. Yes, so I will be showing that, but I will be showing you the the snippet and the program that can come from this teachable machine website. So suppose someone is not having the idea of programming TensorFlow, or see, these things are not there in the school and even in the engineering. So what we have to do is we have to use different type of tools that can curate our image and data set and train the model, and then we can directly use that model uh, in our system. So basically, as we all know that in class 10th, 11th and 12th, even from class 8th, we have AI as a subject now, but in those subjects we don't have programming knowledge required. It's better. So suppose let's take an example of a prediction thing. So in the prediction thing, it's basically there is a graph. So we have aligned that session in such a way that you can use a graph paper if you don't know how to use an Excel, and on plotting that graph paper you can predict the third and the fourth values on basically on the first 10 values. So the whole point of it is, if you know programming, if you are good with it, you can plot the graph in the program as well. If you don't know programming, you can plot the graph in Excel as well. There is no compulsion in that, whatever it is coming in the school right now. Okay, so let's continue with this. So this is class 1. I will name this class as cats, and class 2 I will name it as dogs. Okay, I'm so sorry, dogs. Yeah, so I have taken 7 images sample. You can take 50 image sample, your result will be much more better. Just to show you a example, I am doing this. Okay, now we have to train the model. While pressing this train model, all these images will be uploaded to the Google server, and then something magical will happen. We'll see. So this is the advanced section. So this is epochs. So as you can see, epoch means every sample of training dataset is fed at least once. So if your epochs are set to 50, for example, it means your model, your training will work through entire training at least 50 times, right? So if this is higher, your result will be higher because the processes will be higher. The batch size. Now the batch size is a set of samples used in one iteration of training. Suppose you have 80 images, so 80 divided by, if your batch size is set to 16, so there will be a division by 80 divided by 16, and that comes to 4. So it will form 4 different batches. Okay, so it says that you probably won't need to tweak this number you to get a good training result. That's okay, but still we will see all the details of this. So learning rate, yeah, this is the rate. So basically this is 0.001. So if we do it 0.01, that will be a big change in the number, right? So basically behind this there is a neural network going on, and all those epochs, batch size, learning rate, and you can see under the hood as well that what is happening. Let's train the model. Let's click over here. So it says preparing training data, and then it will upload. Yes, see, training. So model train, it is fast, and as it is Google. Okay, so yeah, so it says that model trained. Now I don't have a webcam attached, so I will choose file, and I will take let's take a dog image. Let's take a dog image from the net. I will just search a dog image, and I will store it on my computer. Save image. I guess you can't see this because okay, yeah, saved. Now what I will do is I will just choose an image that I have downloaded right now, and you can see the it's in the downloads. No, it's not. It's in the yeah, it's in the desktop. Yeah. Okay, so I have uploaded this picture and it says dogs, right? So now if we want to change our image, what we can do is we can just let's take another example of a cat, and I'll show you a different okay, let's let's take this one is good. I'll just save this cat image. I'm just what right now what I'm doing is I'm just taking an image from the net from Google, and I'm just saving it on my desktop. Let's open it and then choose another one. This is, yeah, so this, it says cat. So just like that, you can use your webcam on your laptops, and you can use your photo and your photo with anything in your hand. So you can just name your photo, like you can just name my class as my photo, and the thing, like if you have a mobile phone in your hand, just write mobile phone, and then you train your model, and it will just classify between a mobile phone and your face, right? And now the best thing over here is when you click on export model, you can use this model, the same model, in your programs and your projects. Basically, if you have Arduino, I guess you all know what is Arduino and working with Arduino, you can just take this TensorFlow Lite and you can run it over there. The latest model of Arduino works with TensorFlow Lite. And also you can watch more videos in this teachable machine, and you can just create different projects over there. So let's try. I think you should also try on this website, and if you have any doubts, you can comment over here. Sir, please upload the link in description in the comments. I guess just write teachable machine in Google. The first link will be that one. If I do it, let me check if it is working. Yeah, if I just write teachable machine. Okay, let's delete this, and let's just Google search teachable machine. So the first link, it says teachable machine. If you open it, it will open the same link, right? Okay, so let's go back to the new project. Yeah, so in the audio project, obviously I don't have an audio of 20 seconds, but if you see background noise or class, so if you want to classify between 2 or 3 different noises, so you can just add a background noise and your voice, so it will classify between other noises and your voice. And this is the pose project. So in this pose project, you have to open a webcam, and okay, let's take an example of a boy sitting maybe on a desk. Yeah, let's take this example. Let's save it on my desktop, and let's see what happens. I want you to understand what is happening. Yeah, this one. Okay, so in this one, as you can see, there is one example. So just like similarly, you have to add 50 more examples, or maybe it is better to use a webcam and do some action in the webcam, so it will take your poses, so it will classify between the different poses. Okay, so yeah, so you can see over here that the poses, how the poses are classified. It draws a line between your in your legs, and eyes, hands, shoulders, everywhere. uh, yes. Okay, so this was the activity. You can use this activity, and we have another activity that we have over here is draw with Google. Okay, so draw french fries in under 10 seconds, in under 20 seconds, it says like that. So you can use this is really for really very small kids. If I just draw french fries, it's draw a truck in under 20 seconds. Okay. It says fire truck. I'm sorry. Okay, so this was the second activity that I was showing you. Okay, yeah. So now, if you have any questions, let me see those questions and answer that. I think we are on time. Yes. Okay, we have with me Jagmohan as well, and as you can see, the in the comments you have creative engineer. He's Jagmohan. We have with me, and he would like to talk to you guys. In the meantime, let me check all the questions that we have.
Hello everyone. Hope you like this session, and I think it is now much clear to you that what is AI and how it is going to help you in your life. We have gone through the two activities. One is Google Teachable Machine, another one is Quick Draw, and I hope you understand these activity. If you have any query, you can post in the mentors group. You are joining through, I think, mentorship sessions.
Okay, yeah. So we have our doubt that Alexa, Siri use Apache Hadoop file system or regular file system. See, basically, we can do it on Apache Hadoop file system as well. But the whole point of this session is we are not even discussing what is regular file system and what is Hadoop file system. So all these queries, I think we should stick to all the generic queries. We will be taking all the uh, queries related to programming. See, in my whole PPT there is no program. There was no program, right? So you don't have to be a programming geek to understand AI. Basically, if you have two images, whatever you think, however you classify those two images, that if you can write it on a paper using a text also, then also you will be starting with AI. So this was a very basic AI session, but yes,
So,
answering to your question, we can use Alexa. For Siri and Alexa, we use Apache Hadoop file system.
Soumya,
Yeah.
I think they're getting much confusion in this. What is Siri? What is Alexa? How they are different? Why we are calling them AI systems?
No,
So I think they
basically,
have.
see, we'll just call it a smart speaker for now, because
Okay.
yeah. Okay. For doing this, for taking this doubt, let me show you. Let me take 5 minutes and show you a proper thing. So let's open dialog flow. So yeah, I think you can see my screen. Yeah, so this is Dialogflow by Google. So over here, whatever happens in Alexa, Siri, people just program it, and I will show you how. Let me just sign into my account. Yeah. So this is Dialogflow, an example. So just like we have Alexa and Siri, Google is giving us a service. There are many different services that Google provides. So this is also Google's website, dialogflow.com, and we have over here written as build natural and rich conversational experiences. Suppose if you want to optimize your Google Assistant, or you want to create your own answers in the Google Assistant, what you can do is you can open this website, go to console over here, and yeah, let me sign in over in the Dialogflow again. What entities I was showing you, I will show you now. So over here I have so many commands, so many text, right? So you have intents. So the first intent is basically these intents, that you have switch check on or switch check off, or you have to increase the brightness using your Google Assistant or not. I have just created this by my own, and you can just test it right over here. So if you have to create a new intent, you will just write the context, event, or a training phrase. So this is important. Now training phrase is maybe turn on light, right? You just enter and turn on light. So yeah, now as you can see, automatically it says the entity as at light, and now and at light we will add a value, that is lights. Okay, so over here value is light. Now I will enter a text response. So my text response can be, okay, light getting turned on. So my expression was turn on light getting turned on, right? And the same way you have to use on as well. In on you will be setting enter name on, and as you can see lights, it automatically detects, but at entities you have to detect. So just on, over here you will be having @on, right? So says that some entities cannot be created because it is not there in the library of Google right now. So all those words that are similar in Google library, like lights, so it takes the entity as lights. Now entities, okay, let's just show you. So okay, all these are entities, so these are talking to all, these are changing the color of the lights, condition,
So maybe we
devices.
need to end the session. I think time is
Yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, let me just show them the fulfillment thing. So yeah, after doing all those questions, you have this type of command, right? And you can just take it and put it on the controller, and it will just tell you the answer. Yeah, great if you have used Dialogflow. If you have any queries, you can just yeah, you can just drop the message in Telegram at the Jagmohan Yadav. That's good. We will be taking all your queries. So I think it's more than 5 now, and I have to end the session now. Let's hope that we'll meet again. Thank you so much, everyone.